Hello there, my delicious ones. Welcome to my home. How are you this evening? I hope that those who celebrated had a wonderful Easter. Pant and I hid candy and treat eggs all around the house and spent Sunday morning hunting for them. Our local community also did a children's egg hunt, so we donated a few chocolate eggs. Today's episode is the second of a two-part series. If you missed the first part, the Gargoyle's love is about a being called Merd, once an angel among the rebels cast out of heaven with Lucifer. After climbing out of the pit and back to earth, Merd created a body out of stone. But it was ugly and rough, unlike his former beauty. To begin with, Merd loathed mankind as fiercely as Lucifer. Still, after some time on earth, he understood that humanity was innocent of causing his fate. Eventually, Merd and some of his brothers decided they would not harm people. In fact, since God had not destroyed them, they would spend their endless years of banishment, watching over mankind and protecting them. Thus, gargoyles began to perch on churches and ancient buildings, watching over the world and seeking out those who needed help and protection. One night, Merd saw a single teenage mother carrying her baby home from the hospital. The night was dark and cold, so he followed the pair from the rooftops to be sure they got home safely. When he saw that the girl, Rylene, was alone and lived in a single drafty room, Merd swore that he would watch over and protect them both. Over the next 5 years, Rylene married. Sadly, the man was abusive, so Merd decided to work until he could provide them the means to leave their situation. Just as he achieved his goal, Rylene's husband died. Despite the fact he'd been violent, Rylene was miserable. In the end, Merd revealed himself to Rylene and offered her the documents he'd had drawn up, including enough money to protect Rylene and her daughter for 20 years. What will happen now to Rylene and the gargoyle? Join me and we will find out. The Gargoyle's Love. Part 2. Rylene looked down at the papers. She said, "Is all this real? Feel free to have them checked tomorrow. Each one has a seal of legitimacy, but still have someone look them over. I can return tomorrow to hear whether you need more. This is more money than I've seen in my whole life," she said. "Were you not tempted to take this?" "Not at all," Merd said. "My wants are few. My needs are less. I only wish to know that you and yours are taken care of. That done, I can go." "And what of you?" Rylene asked. "With this done, I will away. If you ask, I will not come near again. Instead, I'll stray afar to some distant country and seek another who needs my protection and my help. But I'll remember you. I'll maintain the email address where you can contact me. That way, you never need to fear not getting hold of me." Rylene tilted her head at him. "What if I'd have you stay? Maybe we could handle this whole thing quite another way." "What do you mean?" "You've said that God above sent you to me. Perhaps he did, but there must be a source of this money. You worked for it. Is that the truth?" Merd nodded his head. "Then I should pay you back. Maybe the pleasures of my bed would be enough to thank you for your toil and loyalty." Merd shook his head. "I'm honored by the notion, lady, but you don't owe me anything. Knowing that you are free, and that Lene is warm and safe is quite enough for me." This time, Rylene's small smile seemed real. "Then what about?" she said, "asking you to remain our friend. Lanai still passes out. At around 7. Maybe you could come to see me then? Don't you fear me. Lanai and I were hurt by mortal men. I gave my husband all I had, and still he abused me. You, on the other hand, look strange, but you've done good for me. You have not asked for anything, and have not demanded. Instead, you've only offered goodness, Rylene gently said. I'd be your friend and confidant, should you desire of me, to have a stalwart companion. Come nights and talk to me. I'll tell you of Lanai, and how she grows and does in school. We will share talk, and only that. That will be our fast rule. Do you agree? Gladly. He kissed Rylene's fingers. Thank you. You've asked me to return, so I will always come for you. So, Mayor did his work by day, and when the evening came, Rylene was waiting at the door, lips calling out his name. Rylene would lie in Maird's arms, or sit curled on his thigh, tilting her head back against his chest, with a relieved sigh. And he, as careful as one holding onto a glass bird, made sure his rough casing did not scrape her or cause her hurt. They talked, they laughed. Sometimes they cried. Maird felt no distress, unless he glimpsed on Rylene's face hurt or unhappiness. Still, he didn't trust the neighborhood that Rylene lived in. Ever industrious, Maird soon had a solution in his careful mind. The first house he'd purchased had been burned down. The night, a strange madness had swept the full length of the town. And although it had been insured, the claim was taking time, forcing Rylene and Lanai to remain in Ringing Pines. But now, Merritt had found out and had put a payment down on a fine and beautiful house in a good part of town. He meant to keep paying until it was Rylene's entire, and her security in that place would never expire. So, one night, he confessed his plan to Rylene. Rylene smiled. She clapped her hands and danced in place like an excited child. Maird gave her the address and a time on the next day when she could see it and give him her answer, aye or nay. The house was large and beautiful. A man showed them around. In all the light and airy place, there was no problem found. There were rooms for her, Lanai, and for 4 others besides. One of them, she thought, she could set a craft room up inside. The garden was large, wide, and full of flowers, with trees of green, between which a lawn of grass and a small table were seen. The windows and the doors were sound, and all was bright and warm. The place looked like it could have withstood the harshest of storms. The house was so well insulated, it scarce needed heat, and air conditioning drove back the worst of summer's heat. It was a dream like nothing that Rylene had known before. She'd never thought to see a place she would so much adore. In short, Rylene loved it. Soon, Maird helped to move them in. When all was done, Rylene grasped Maird's hand tight and kissed him. When she did, pain shuddered through him. He fell down to the floor. Maird, Rylene called. Talk to me. Get up, she did implore. But Maird could say nothing. He couldn't sit up or speak. He could only lie on his side, breathe in deeply, and seek not to frighten sleeping Lanai by bellowing his hurt. He knew that he had crossed a line. God would punish him worse than before for kissing Rylene, his bright, beloved one. And yet, he couldn't regret the kiss. Whatever he'd done, he'd come to love Rylene and Lanai, both so tenderly, that he wished he was human, and could their champion be. The pain crested, and gentle Maird bit into his arm, to smother the scream that might otherwise have caused more harm to the lady and child he loved. Soon after, blackness came, and the last thing on Merritt's lips was Rylene's much-loved name. When Merritt woke, the pain was gone. His breath came easily. He didn't trust either feeling. God wouldn't let him be. But there was no pain in his arms or legs or scaly skin. It was true bliss, but Merritt knew it was not meant for him. He waited for the punishment, the horror to begin. But all he felt were Rylene's warm arms as she cuddled him. She seemed somehow larger. Wait, no, Merritt was not as tall. He looked down at arms, pink and clean, and seeming somehow small. After his former slabs of stone, these arms were flesh and blood. Wonder and terror crossed through Merritt's mind in a great flood. Could it be? No, he wouldn't hope. It hurt too much to do. And yet, Rylene whispered, Merritt, something's happened to you. Look at yourself. You're not the cold gargoyle you used to be. It is a human being that I now see before me. Could it be? Maybe God above has made a man of you, in thanks for all the kindness and the good that you did do. Was it possible? Could it be? Merritt just could not say. How else could he describe what had happened to him that day? His body was of flesh and blood, of muscle and of bone. Surely, no one else could have accomplished the change alone. So it fell out. God must have been the one to transform him. But why would he have done so much for one so deep in sin? Unless, Rylene, he said, there's just one thing I wish to do. With this life, if it's truly mine, and that is to love you. You know what I am, what I've been. You've seen the former me. Do you think, can I ever hope that you might care for me? Not that I'm suggesting that I expect marriage from you. I would be happy, simply to be living around you. I can still work, as soon as I get used to this new frame. I can get my paychecks transferred into a human name. If I pay rent to you, you can have every last penny. Do you think that you and Lenai could endure having me as your tenant here, in the house you mean to make your home? Of course, I'll leave immediately if you would be alone. Or if you find a man or woman you would have love you, as husband or wife, in the way that innocent souls do. Only, if you will, let me be near you both for a while. He stopped silent, watching Rylene. Then, Merritt saw her smile. Since I was a mother and child, and Lenai, a baby, you have been our defender, watching over her and me. I want nothing more in the world than to drive off all strife from your body and from your mind, and then become your wife. If I do not presume too much, if you want that from me, then, when all is settled, I ask, will you marry me? Merritt could say nothing, but hugged Rylene and kissed her hand. And that was how Rylene married an almost unknown man, who was tall and strong and gentle, and loved so gallantly that none who saw Rylene with him could not wish them happy. Merritt was braced for the moment that all would fall away, that he would be proved a fool for hoping that joy would stay. But his happiness only grew, and it occurred to him that maybe, after all this time, God had forgiven him. If he was right, his life might end with a return to light. Then again, if, once he perished, he learned he was not right, and found himself ensconced in flame, he'd have lived every day so happily, its memory would keep the pain away. Subscribe to become a delicious darling. Yes, I'm so happy that Merritt got his redemption, and now he and Rylene and Lenai can make a family. What did you think of the poem? Did you think that Merritt would be forgiven? Today's word for the comments is caretaker. Write it, and then tell me about something you deeply care about. Speaking of things we care for, I care very much for this channel, and it has been a pleasure to see more of you joining as official Delicious Darlings. Please take a moment to click like and subscribe. Tap the notification bell and become part of our happy family. Right now, I am off to the gym. I need a little exercise after all those Easter eggs and hot cross buns. Until I see you again, be happy, healthy, and safe, and sleep well, my delicious darlings.